Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, November 27, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what though that's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the US National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, and we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 6:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and considering that it's 6:58 p.m. right now, it's more than 30 minutes out, and we can see that we have no tropical cyclone activity that's expected during the next 7 days, but we're still going to be focusing our attention on the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models. As usual, we're going to be looking at the latest Euro model first that came out this afternoon between 3 and 4, and we're also going to be focusing our attention across the Caribbean right here and looking for all of this that we see on the key on the right. The reds, the oranges, the yellows, the greens, that represents inches of rainfall. 1 inch in the greens, all the way up to 5 inches in the darker greens. The yellows 6 to the orange 12, all the way up into the reds, all the way from 16 up to 30 inches. So let us see exactly what unfolds over the next 7 days across the Caribbean. For reference, we have Jamaica right here, already getting now some amount of moisture around or across the island, all courtesy of the trough that has been affecting us, and we already saw that on the latest infrared satellite images. We see all of the clouds, and we saw what took place throughout the day. We saw most of the clouds coming into portions of eastern Jamaica. Definitely got some rainfall for sure, maybe some isolated afternoon showers across western parishes, but we saw that the brunt of the weather is pushing towards Haiti and the Dominican Republic throughout the day into this hour. And if we take a look at the latest Euro model, we're going out and we can see that as we head into, well, that's 1 a.m. on Thursday. 6Z on Thursday, November 28th is actually 1 a.m. on Thursday, and we can still see a lot of rainfall, especially to the south and east of Jamaica. We see the dark greens, we see the yellows that represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to the 6 inches of rainfall range still in the forecast. But let us take these forecasts with a grain of salt once again. These models are showing rainfall. We know that there's a trough in our area, but I've said it before and I'll say it again that these troughs can be very tricky. We could get rainfall later on tonight, or we could have a fair night and then wake up to rainfall in the morning, or it could be a case where we don't get anything else for the rest of the week. That's how troughs are. Sometimes the rainfall is displaced, or sometimes they can cause a lot of flash flooding all at once. We just have to be on our P's and Q's and be on the alert just in case. But as of right now, the Euro model is forecasting rainfall for 1 a.m. on Thursday. Heading through the day on Thursday, we still see a lot of rainfall across the island as well as the waters surrounding the island. As we head into Friday, we're starting to get in on less rainfall. We're starting to see more whites than rainfall as represented by the greens. You know, the whites represent little to no rainfall at all. And then we see that we are getting in on rainfall, then no rainfall, then getting in on rainfall, then no rainfall. Saturday, something similar to Friday, isolated rainfall, and more than likely the rainfall is going to be affecting us during the afternoon hours. Saturday, something similar. Sunday, looks like we're getting back to regular scheduled programming in general, starting to lose out on the intensity of this trough, but we see a lot of the moisture going to be focused more so across eastern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, section of Costa Rica, And as we continue to go out, we're going to be stopping at the next 168 hours. So that's 12Z on December 4, that's 7 a.m. And we do see the moisture still that's going to be plaguing the waters of the southwestern Caribbean. And we can also see a line of showers stretching from Jamaica all the way through the Windward Passage, all the way upward into the northern portion of North Atlantic. That could only mean one thing: another frontal system is going to bring some rainfall, and we see that as we head into the first 4 days of December. So by day 4 of December, we know that there could be another frontal system, and we know what usually happens. You have a lot of northeasterly flow, lots of rainfall for the north coast in general. We're talking about Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney. So let us see what happens at the end of the next 7 days. Alright, so let us see what the Euro model, well, the GFS model is showing. So we just looked at the Euro. That's what the GFS is showing. So we can see right here as we head into 6Z on Thursday, 1 a.m. we have a lot of moisture, greens in and around the island for sure. 12Z on Thursday is actually 7 a.m. Look at the moisture. You even see some dots of yellows in there, maybe up to 6 inches of rainfall in some spots. Friday, we're starting to get in on more of the whites, but we still see a lot of moisture surrounding the island for sure. 18Z, 1 p.m. Then 0Z, 7 p.m. Still see a lot of moisture in and around the island on Friday. Saturday, lots of whites, lots of greens. You can see what's coming. And then as we head into Sunday now, we're starting to get in on less of the rainfall, more whites and a mixture of greens. So more so isolated showers, if not more afternoon rainfall. And we're going to be stopping right there at the next 168 hours. We can see the isobar is even better, showing that flow more so from the east northeast or from the northeast. And we can also make out the line of showers associated with that frontal system, stretching all the way from Central America up into Jamaica, into Hispaniola, stretching all the way up into the northern portion of North Atlantic. So there's definitely going to be a frontal system, a cold front. Hopefully it's a cold front that brings some amount of cold or cooler than average temperatures as we head into December. So this is a couple days out, 7 days out, and it is valid for December 4. So a frontal system is coming your way. If you live on the north coast, get ready for even more rainfall. If you live on the south coast, let's pray that some of that rainfall spills into some southern parishes. If you're not tired of the rainfall, and more than likely it's going to be affecting sections of some southern parishes during the afternoon. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, just over the next 3 days alone, more than likely we're going to be getting on most of this rainfall that we see here. We know the most in the way of rainfall is represented by what we see on the key on the right. So we're talking about the dark reds that represents 2 inches, the purples 3, the pinks, the 4s to 5 inches, and even the peach colors, we're talking about 6 to 8 inches of rainfall. And we can see a lot of that stretching all the way from the southern Bahamas, eastern Cuba, we're talking about especially eastern Jamaica, sections of northern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, western Venezuela. Definitely in the forecast to receive some amount of rainfall over the next 7 days. Keep in mind that this map from the Euro is showing all of the rainfall that's expected from now, accumulated or piled up, all the way up to Wednesday, December 4, as we can see here. And it's not only the Euro model that's showing this, but the GFS model is showing something similar. Even although it's a bit less robust than what the Euro was showing, GFS definitely a bit more reserved, with Jamaica now showing more reds than anything else. That represents up to 1 inch of rainfall, or at least 2 inches. Eastern Jamaica still gonna be getting on those purples. There's 3 inches of rainfall. Either way, we see a lot of rainfall in store for portions of Honduras, sections of eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica. That's a lot of rainfall if that actually verifies. And it's quite interesting that we're seeing a lot of the blues across portions of Costa Rica as well. You know, the blues represents anywhere from 10 all the way up to maybe 25 inches of rainfall. So that is definitely a bit concerning if it actually verifies. Let us take a closer look at Jamaica regarding the total accumulated precipitation forecast over the next 7 days. We can see the US still more robust with the greens, the yellows, the oranges, and the reds, as well as the purples, especially across eastern Jamaica. Still going to be getting a lot of rainfall for sure. The GFS showing that eastern Jamaica is still going to be getting on the most rainfall over the next 7 days. We're seeing the yellows, the oranges, the pinks. That represents anywhere from 30 all the way up to 100 millimeters of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and we know all of this rainfall can definitely trigger some amount of isolated flash flooding, landslides, you name it. So get ready as we start to wrap up the week in general. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have ridges of high pressure to our north that we know are responsible for sending all of these easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can also see the blue spike line right here associated with the tail end of a coast front, stretching all the way from the northern portion of North Atlantic. And to the south of that tail end of the cold front, we have some broken orange lines right here associated with a trough. Broken orange lines right here associated with that other trough attached to that broad area of low pressure across the southern Caribbean. And we can see another frontal system right here across portion of the southeastern United States, and a trough that has induced into portion of the northern Bahamas. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out the clouds associated with the frontal system. Let's use pink right here. So we can see the clouds right here stretching all the way down into portions of the Caribbean right here, still getting on some amount of overcast sky showers and thunderstorms into portion of the southern Bahamas, sections of the Turks and Caicos, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica. We can definitely make out all of the clouds. Not seeing much heavy thunderstorm clouds right now across the island. And if we take a look back at the infrared, we can make it out even better. Let us reload these images. So this is the latest infrared satellite image, just came out at 23:50 UTC, so that's about 6:50 p.m. Jamaica time, considering that it's 7:09 p.m. right now. You can see that not much is happening across Jamaica right now. We do see some cloud cover, but we're seeing more in the way of greens than anything else, not necessarily these strong thunderstorms like what we see with the yellows, the oranges, and the reds right there between Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti. It's definitely getting in on some amount of the bad weather as we speak over there across Haiti for sure, as well as portions of the southern Dominican Republic. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, November 27, 2024. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for section of most parishes in Jamaica from last night into Wednesday. And we know when they're talking about most parishes, we're talking about all of our parishes: northern parishes, southern parishes, eastern, central, and western parishes. And what ended up happening? As early as 6:05 a.m., we saw the infrared satellite image being posted right here on our Twitter page with Jamaica. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, but they're also made on our Instagram page with Jamaica, on our TikTok page with Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can definitely see the clouds, the showers, and the thunderstorms at around 6:05 a.m. especially right there to the south of Hispaniola. Look at all of the deep convection. Lots of cumulonimbus clouds right there, as represented by the blues, the greens, the yellows, oranges, reds, the blacks, and the whites within those reds and blacks. Not to mention the sparkling white dust that we know represents a lot of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes at that time. You also see a lot of the thunderstorms right here to the south of the western peninsula of Haiti, right there to the north of the western peninsula of Haiti. And some of these clouds definitely spilled into portions of some especially eastern parishes this morning for sure. And we definitely had some of this rainfall spilling into portions of St. Catherine at around 7:25 a.m. too. We saw the flat bridge cam being posted highlighting the light to moderate rainfall affecting that area at that time, showing the vehicles crossing the bridge. but they were definitely getting on some amount of rainfall at that time. And we definitely gotten on some of that at first in portions of St. Thomas, and then section of Kingston and St. Andrew gotten on some of the action too. Then this afternoon, the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted, highlighting that we were receiving some amount of rainfall as represented by the greens and the yellow colors that we know stands for moderate to heavy rainfall. At around 4:30 p.m. we definitely saw that, especially across sections of Clarendon, St. Thomas, section of Portland, and we even had some of the rainfall exiting the coast up, well, it looks like St. Elizabeth right there, maybe even spilling into section of southeastern Westmoreland, but northern Jamaica not much rainfall at all. Most of the rainfall out to sea to the north, section of especially north or eastern Portland definitely gotten some of the rainfall. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, you can definitely make out where we had that isolated shower activity across section of St. Elizabeth, section of Clarendon, some cloud cover across the east, and then some amount of rainfall coming to section of St. Thomas and Portland before all was said and done with the sunlight. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite images, not seeing much happening. We definitely see the milky whitish colors that represent some amount of cloud cover. Not necessarily the deep convection, as we know is represented by the yellows, oranges and reds. Most of that is still off to our east, pushing into Haiti. And we can definitely confirm that rainfall that took place across Crossroads in St. Andrew today at around 7:04 a.m. definitely gotten on some amount of moderate to heavy rainfall for sure. During the peak hours when people are heading to work or school, you can see the vehicles right here with their windshield wipers on, people with their umbrella for sure. Definitely gotten on some amount of rainfall. Definitely hindered some people from going to school and work today. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast from, well, the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the CIMH, that's the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology. This map shows us where we had the rainfall today. More than likely it's showing most of the rainfall from last evening into now, and we can definitely see that especially northeastern Jamaica got on the brunt of the rainfall. We're talking about Portland, sections of St. Mary, St. Thomas as well. And we definitely have some of the comments coming in here confirming what the weather was like today across some spots. And Maria stating, good evening, weather Jamaica. It's raining right now in Thornton, St. Elizabeth. That was 4 hours ago, so I guess that was when they were getting in on the isolated afternoon rainfall. We have Celeste stating, no rain where I am in southeast St. Elizabeth from yesterday morning. We have Active 4081 stating, no rain in Clarendon. We're in Barton 5374, moderate rain in Portmore. And this morning now, so 11 hours ago, that's 7:31 a.m., we have CIA operative saying light when we made a post highlighting that portion of the island were receiving light to moderate rainfall, but I guess he was receiving some heavy rainfall. We have Cardi D stating very light rain in Portmore. We have Ricardo James stating eastern Jamaica will be drenched again today, and so they were. We also have Gavin Thompson stating getting rain in Maypen. No, that's weird. Somebody just said that they didn't get rain in Clarendon, so I guess Maypen got rainfall, but not their specific part of Clarendon. We have Shawnee Reynolds stating was raining in St. Andrew. And we even have some comments coming in here on our Instagram page. We have Chris2538 LLC. It's a wet morning downtown Kingston. We also have 1116 Tash stating, Almighty Savior, it has been raining since I arrived on the island on Saturday. I am going back to New York this weekend. So you want to tell me that it will be raining all week here in Outages? Boy, looks like that. The weather pattern, I think you came at a bad time, man. We're in the wet season still. We're about to begin our dry season, but it seems like it's still gonna be wet. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's still wet, especially for the north coast, especially when there's a frontal system affecting the island. We also have Get the Money and Go stating heavy rain on Constant Spring heading to halfway tree. Passion K21 stating weather Jamaica, I'm loving it. Alright, I'm loving it too. We have Afriana that be sitting heavy showers in eastern St. Thomas. And I think I already read that one. Alright, so I guess we definitely have the confirmation there that we got some amount of rainfall across especially eastern parishes today. And we have an update from the National Works Agency. If you remember yesterday, we highlighted that the road was washed out and definitely impassable because of the flooding that took place in Buff Bay to Whitehall area of Portland. But they gave us some updates. They stated material is being offloaded for the reinstatement of Craig Mill Bypass, Portland. Temporary restoration works are now in progress, and we saw the truck unloading some material to do something so that people can be connected again. And so they did. They've stated update approach road to Craig Mill Bypass has been restored. Roadway is accessible to motor vehicles. Caution is advised. And we see the image right here highlighting the work that the NWA has done to get the area reconnected. And we also have other things to highlight. In progress, cleaning of Negro River Basin in St. Anne now in progress. And we see all of the debris that they have to be cleaning, and they better clean it because boy, more rainfall, more flooding could definitely take place. So hopefully they got that done and everything can all the water can easily flow underneath that area. We also have another post right here from the NWA stating caution. Heavy equipment was used to create single lane access at the Tranquility to Banger Ridge breakaway in Portland. This was done by cutting into the embankment. A design solution will soon follow. Caution is advised. And they've highlighted here what they are referring to, more than likely basically some kind of temporary solution to deal with the if not landslide, some kind of a breakaway. We also have another post right here from the NWA stating in progress drain cleaning activities along Prairie Roadway St. Anne, just to show that they've been getting in on some amount of rainfall, so they definitely have to clean the drains to prevent more flooding. We see the tractors here, the heavy duty equipment for sure getting the work done as they should. And then finally we also have a post here from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, but this was posted yesterday evening at around 6:53 p.m. Don't know if it is still happening, but they've stated please be advised that the bridge at Cox Street, Port Maria, St. Mary has been closed to traffic due to significant damage to the supporting columns believed to be caused by prolonged rainfall. The bridge has been deemed unsafe. Okay, more than likely it's still unsafe. I doubt that they've done anything to fix it as yet. Let me see if they posted any updates regarding this. Did they? Doesn't seem like it. Okay, so they've stated the National Works Agency has implemented detours and closed off both ends of the bridge. A thorough assessment of the damage will be conducted tomorrow. They're talking about today. And the public is strongly urged to use alternative routes. Boy, these things happen, especially in the wet season. Lots of rainfall. So a bridge that you guys have been walking over for years can definitely become unstable or damaged for sure. If we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image of Jamaica, just look at the very latest still image, and the latest still image just came out at 0005 UTC, so that's 7:05 p.m. and considering that it's 7:21 p.m. right now, as a matter of fact, in the next minute a new image is going to be coming out, but I'm sure it's not going to be different from what we're seeing here. Just the whitish milky upper level clouds, nothing significant, but we know we can definitely have some rainfall within all of that. Let us see what the latest from the Cuban Doppler radar site is showing. Alright, so when I loaded this, it was showing the last image at 6:20, and we saw that we're getting some amount of rainfall across especially St. Thomas, Portland, heaviest rainfall to the north of the island. Let us reload the image and see what it is showing. Alright, so the latest image just came out at 7:20 p.m. so this just came out 1 minute ago, considering that it's 7:21 p.m. now. And what do we see? We can make out some of this rainfall passing through St. Thomas into sections of St. Andrew, sections of maybe northeastern St. Anne into sections of northern St. Mary, getting on some amount of rainfall. So 2 sections of Portland, maybe just some light to slightly moderate rainfall, nothing too significant. Correct me if I'm wrong, because boy, we really need a Doppler radar for ourselves so we can know exactly what's happening. If we take a look at the very latest Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery, we can make out the blues into the greens, representing some light to moderate rainfall, stretching all the way from the western peninsula of Haiti into portions of northeastern Jamaica for sure. Regarding what's happening on the Cayman radar, not seeing much of anything happening across western Jamaica, but we do see some isolated showers right here to the far south of mainland Grand Cayman. And if we take a look at the very latest Barbican camera, you can see that it's definitely dry times, nothing happening right now, people in their vehicles going about their business. One individual right here walking on the sidewalk going about their business for sure. Seems like it could be a dry night. We'll see exactly what happens. There's a trough in our area. Let's see if we get more rainfall tonight or tomorrow. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. Subscribe today so that you don't miss out. We're even seeing right here, we're seeing halfway through now. They have a lot of cameras all over. So subscribe just in case they choose to install a camera near you. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should have down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Thursday when calculated. That's 1 p.m. on Thursday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some slight yellow colors. I know the yellow colors are represented by what we see on the key on the right, up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of November across Jamaica are around 88 degrees Fahrenheit. 88 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31.1 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. And if you live in these areas, be advised that there are going to be some amount of power outages taking place for Thursday, November 28th. We're talking about Titchfield Hill in Portland from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're also referring to Claredale Avenue in St. Andrew, 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. And finally, we're talking about New Green, Eden Street, Beverly Greens, and Atkinson Drive in Manchester, anytime between 9 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. So if you live in these areas, or if you know people who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way, as the Jamaica Public Service is going to be doing some maintenance outages. So we know the drill. If it's going to be a bit too hot and the power outages are going to make that even worse, lack of fans, lack of AC to cool us down. So get yourselves ready for that. And you can also try these tips to beat the heat. When you're outside, please seek shade. Eat fresh. Try eating cold food such as salads and fruit. Rest. Make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. So take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And finally, I cannot stress enough how important it is to always keep hydrated. Drink lots of water. Put away the sugar drinks. Drink water instead. If we take a look at the dry air map, not much change. Lots of dry air still plaguing the Gulf of Mexico, the Western Caribbean, the Bahamas, and we see how bone dry those areas are. Lack of clouds. Most of the clouds and the moist areas represented by the blues, and the whites that represent the cloud. All the way into South America, the southern main development region, the eastern to the central Caribbean, including Jamaica, stretching all the way northward to the north of the Caribbean, all courtesy of that upper level wind shear. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Thursday, we can start to make out some of the browns that represent the Saharan dust, stretching all the way closer to the northeastern portion of South America. But we see that the more west it goes, the more it dwindles or the more it dissipates. And that's what we like to see. We don't even like to see that dark brown shade that we see across Africa that we know represents the vigorous plume that can cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis in some persons. We can see that it's definitely clear all across North America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, most of South America, the Central America region right there, Jamaica right here enjoying the definite lack of Saharan dust. We don't want it at all. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, we're seeing more blues than anything else across the Caribbean that represents anywhere from 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, and that's because the winds are going to be averaging anywhere from about 10 to 20 knots at most, and we see the flow of the winds coming in more so from the east, kind of curving northward, more of an east-southeasterly kind of flow. And then we see it curving across the southwestern Caribbean around some kind of area of spin across the southwestern Caribbean right there to the north of Panama. And if we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica regarding the winds, we can see that we're going to be getting on more of an east-southeasterly kind of flow. Looks like a strong southeasterly flow on the north coast, more of an easterly to slightly east-southeasterly flow on the south coast. And we could get some rainfall coming off of the sea, coming into portion of eastern Jamaica, maybe southern Jamaica. But look at where we have the least amount of winds. We have them across section of some northern and western parishes. And we know what usually takes place. Maybe we could get on some daytime heating. All of these low-level clouds pushing in from the east-southeast, building up and becoming mid-level to upper-level rain clouds. Let us see exactly what takes place. But as of right now, it looks like maybe some northern and western parishes could get on some afternoon rainfall. We're talking about St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, maybe Westmoreland. Let us see exactly what unfolds. We also see the upper level wind shear for tomorrow. Favoring. Is it favoring? Hold on. I think I clicked on the wrong map. Let us see, because that was showing the 25th day of November. So let us go out in time. We're looking for 18Z on Thursday. Alright, so not much change. Still getting in on more of a southwesterly kind of flow. And if we get in on some thunderstorms across the island, more than likely they're going to be sheared off towards the north, bringing more overcast skies, if not some light rainfall, to the section of northern Jamaica than anything else. And let us take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now. And as I've said before, take these forecasts with a grain of salt. These troughs can be very tricky. Sometimes all of the rainfall is out to sea. Sometimes all of the rainfall is affecting other areas than the actual areas that the models are predicting that it should affect. But right now we're working with consensus. We're working with what both the Euro and the GFS models are showing. And for now, they're still showing some amount of rainfall across a portion of the island. And we're talking about 11 p.m. on Wednesday. So tonight, we're seeing the blues represent rainfall across section of St. Thomas, Portland, maybe section of St. Mary, Kingston, St. Angela. Let us see if we get that 11 p.m. rainfall according to the Euro. GFS showing something similar but more confined to the eastern portion of St. Thomas and Portland. Even section of St. Anne and Trelawney getting in on the mix, but we don't see that on the Euro at all. We see more whites than anything else. Skipping ahead to about 6 a.m. on Thursday now. We're still seeing that rainfall plaguing eastern parishes, St. Thomas, Portland, spilling into section of Kingston, St. Andrews, section of eastern St. Mary, section of southern St. Catherine, southern Clarendon. Let us see what the GFS is showing. Something similar with the rainfall, but look right there to the south of us. Look at all of the deep rainfall. We're talking about the dark blues into the greens and yellows. Right there, the southern portions of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth. We're not seeing much of that on the Euro. We're seeing it more so out to sea. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what is unfolding at 6 a.m. I will definitely keep you posted with what's happening. Skipping ahead now to about 10 a.m. We still see rainfall, especially across eastern parishes, maybe sections of some southeastern parishes too. Skipping ahead now to 3 p.m. now. Alright. This is where the daytime heating is going to contribute to rainfall, especially across the northern and western portion of the island. We see the rainfall still going to be affecting eastern parishes, but the GFS is starting to make more sense, showing more of the blues across northern and especially western parishes for sure. So we're talking about maybe northern St. Elizabeth, section of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne. The Euro still trying to incorporate some south central parishes. We'll see how that actually goes. But given the flow of the low level winds from the east southeast, I'm more inclined to believe that more so northern and western parishes will be getting on that afternoon rainfall. Even as we head into 7 p.m., we still have some rainfall plaguing portion of the island, more so northern and eastern parishes. We see that on both the Euro and the GFS malls, with the darkest blues, the certainties high for northern and eastern parishes. Then finally we're wrapping up all of this by 10 p.m. We see the GFS not really impressed with rainfall across much of the island by that time. Maybe some slight blues across Hanover, St. Anne, but the Euro adamant that we might see a lot of rainfall across the waters to the southeast of Jamaica. Maybe some of it spilling into sections of some southern and eastern parishes by 10 p.m. on Thursday. We'll see exactly what unfolds. It could be more, it could be less. Either way, in terms of the accumulated precipitation forecast from the Euro and the GFS modes, we see that there are going to be some accumulated rainfall totals. We see the yellows, we see the oranges, we see the reds. And where do we see the reds especially? Mainly across eastern Jamaica, especially in terms of the consensus. You see the GFS trying to give western Jamaica some of the reds. The Euro, not so much, more so yellows, but it's still a lot of rainfall to come. We know the yellows represent anywhere from 0.3 all the way up to 0.75 of an inch of rainfall. We know the reds represents close to 1 inch, 0.77, all the way up to more than an inch, 1.18 on the Euro. The GFS all the way up to 1.6. Let us see exactly what unfolds. Either way, we're grateful that we're getting in on some amount of rainfall. Although the rainfall is doing damage, we like the rainfall to cool down our temperatures and to keep water in our pipes. And we can see that for the month of November across Kingston, we usually receive up to 50 millimeters of rainfall. That's 2 inches of rainfall. For the month of November across Montego Bay, we usually receive close to 5 inches of rainfall. That's up to 125 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives throughout the year in terms of rainfall, you can visit weatherandclimate.com and they will show you that information. If we also take a look at how the rainfall is calculated, we know that rainfall is gathered by the rain gauge and they are measured through inches or millimeters right here. Okay, so through inches or millimeters, we can definitely see right here that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. So you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see right here the clouds, the showers, the thunderstorms still plaguing portion of the central Caribbean, eastern Cuba, the southern Bahamas, Haiti, the Dominican Republic. We can see sections of Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras still getting on some amount of rainfall with that northerly flow across those areas. We can also make out some rainfall across sections of the eastern Caribbean. We're talking about the Leeward Islands, the Windward Islands, and we see a lot of rainfall across the southern main development region too. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let us see what's happening over there. So we can see some amount of hit or miss isolated showers, definitely affecting the British Virgin Islands as we speak, eastern Puerto Rico, and even sections of the waters to the east of Guadeloupe. And if we take a look at where the rainfall was affecting today, definitely portion of the Dominican Republic. We see the rainfall right here in and around portion of the Leeward Islands. We can also see on the latest Barbados radar imagery some rainfall pushing from south to north, more from an east-southeast or southeasterly point of view. We see that rainfall passing to the east of Martinique, heading into section of Dominica. Some rainfall across sections of eastern St. Lucia. Not much affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines or Grenada right now, but we can see at the end of the image right there some hit or miss isolated shores to the east of there, maybe heading their way later on tonight. We can see not much happening across Barbados right now, but some rainfall to the south of that island. We can also see some rainfall that was affecting portion of northern Trinidad, section of Tobago as well. We can definitely see some rainfall to the east of Tobago. Not seeing much across Trinidad or going to be affecting Trinidad later on tonight at all. could happen. Let us see exactly what unfolds. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can make out some isolated shores to the east of Trinidad, well, to the east of Nicaragua right there. We can make out some isolated shores across section of western Colombia too. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see there's rainfall definitely in store for a portion of the southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, eastern Cuba, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, sections of Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, sections of coastal areas of Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, isolated shores in and around Venezuela, the ABC Islands getting on some of the rainfall, so too Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, northern and eastern Honduras, maybe coastal areas of Belize. Not really strong on the Euro, but we can see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with the forecast, and we know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.